Hi, so welcome back to 10 Ways to Survive Life in a Quarantine podcast. Today I'm with Willow, but she'll introduce herself in a minute. So, Willow, if you could just tell us like your name, which we already know, your character, and what section of the show you're in, like that would be great.
Okay. Hi, I'm Willow. Nuss. Um, I am playing Lou, and I am in the first section.
Okay. What is that called?
Um,
Fall in love with an
Falling
animal.
in love with inanimate objects.
Okay. So, okay, just to start off, could you give us just like a quick little, without any like big spoilers, just a quick little like rundown of like your monologue and your character and what's up with him and all that?
Yeah. My character is kind of a social outcast and doesn't have a lot of friends, and this was his opportunity to get friends and gain them from having something that's really important to him and really important to the rest of the world.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so like he has something that's important, no longer social outcast. Swag. Okay. Um, uh, okay. Sorry, I totally spaced. So obviously you are not a social outcast because we all love you. Um, but like, is there anything about your character that like you relate to and you think you have in common, or like any like huge drastic differences besides like gender? But like,
um yeah, I definitely think like towards the beginning he's talking about how like I'm not the like prettiest person, I'm not like the JV soccer team popular guy and all of that. And I definitely think towards the beginning of the year I did definitely feel like I was not like with the whole group of people, even if like they might not have felt that. I definitely felt kind of socially outcast, but now it's changed, so I definitely kind of connect with that.
okay, okay, that's so swag, so swag. Um, but okay, so I just sort of have a couple really loose questions for you. So okay, there's like two like big overall things I sort of want to talk about, or two, three, I guess. The first part is sort of about like you and like your experience with this. The second part is about like your character, and the third part is just going to be like quarantine in general, I guess. Nothing like too structured or anything. I just giving you a little rundown. Okay, but so I know that this like has been really weird because it's like we're doing an eighth grade play on Zoom, and it's a wacky, good, but wacky show. Um, so if you have like anything to say about that, like what, like how that's been for you, or like anything that you were surprised about, or like anything that's been difficult, or anything really, like just
Yeah, I definitely it's kind of a disappointment that we're not doing a musical because I preferably love musicals. But also it's kind of cool that we're doing this play because it gets people's different aspects of what they've been doing in quarantine, because I know everyone has not been doing the same thing during quarantine. I know that for a fact. So it's kind of fun to hear these different people's ways and how they dealt with quarantine, because it's different from how we did it and now we have to portray them. And I think it's cool, but of course there's the downfall of like we didn't get to do a musical, but roll with the punches.
yeah. I know. I was a little bit sad too. I was very excited for guys. That's what we were supposed to do. We were supposed to do guys
Yeah.
and dolls, and I was a little bit sad because I was very excited. But this has been actually really really fun so far. Um, and we're going back in person little by little. So we've gotten to see people a lot more.
Yeah.
Um, but like how? Okay, so these questions are like kind of broad, I guess. Um, but like overall, I guess how is how sorry, how have I should turn that off. How has I've been saying the word how for like 5 minutes, but this world is so different now. I'm like, how are you going through that, and how has school been for you and theater been for you? And I guess like here, I'll phrase yeah, I guess overall.
Well, I'm surprised I made it this far. That's the first thing. Seriously, I mean, like my grades are better than they were, and I'm really frankly surprised. So I was not a good student. Never was, mainly because I talked a lot and the teachers got mad at me. Especially in science. No science teachers ever
The
like
thing is, I was the one you were talking to. Um,
yeah.
but
So definitely surprise. Quarantine's kind of just been, I didn't hate it that much because I kind of got to find out a little bit more about myself in a frank way, because like I was definitely the kid who never was outgoing as much, and I didn't insert my opinion, and I just let people choose things for me instead of doing anything myself. But I think after I watched a whole bunch of TV and lost a lot of brain cells, I kind of turned into the person that I am today, where I'm totally comfortable with doing whatever I want, and I shouldn't have to accept people's opinions of me because that doesn't matter and stuff. And school's going pretty well. Um, Still talk a lot. Still answer a lot of weird questions and ask a lot of weird questions about hamsters and killing them and Disney tales, because everyone wants to know the Disney tales.
yeah,
Everyone wants to know them.
Willow
So
has a lot of cool stories about her childhood that
yeah.
are pretty cool. And once we're back in person, you should go up to Willow. And, well, if you go to our school, don't be like some random person and go, hey, no, if you're at DSA, you should go up to Willow sometime and be like, hey, why did you jump out of a window as a child thinking you were going to Neverland? But just a little sneak peek there. But okay. Yeah, quarantine's been really wacky for everyone.
Yeah.
I really miss everyone too.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's been a year. It's
Yep.
been a year. Crazy. Well, going more into your character, Lou. Okay, here's just a pretty straightforward question. Do you think you'd be friends with Lou, or cuz I know it's really fun to or friends, or would you guys be really not like each other at all? Or what do you think your relationship would be with Lou if you knew each other in real life?
Well, I think knowing my personality, which is a very jumpy kind of like not rude, but I mean to some people personality, I think me and Lou would probably be frenemies. I'm gonna guesstimate because like I don't think we'd be best friends because but I don't think we'd be like super enemies, we'd hate each other, we'd never talk. But I definitely think like if like he had a problem and he came to me, I would help. But I'd also kind of be negative, being like, this isn't that big of a deal. Why are you complaining so much? Go get Bryn. It's fine. And all of that. So yeah.
Yeah, Lou is something. And also, what I find so funny is that a little spoiler alert about Willow's monologue. Um, they talk about Bryn, the cheerleader captain, right? Or
Yeah.
it might be changed, but we
It'll,
talk about in the original writing, the very original writing, there was Bryn, the cheerleader captain, and then there's a character. I think Tessa plays her,
yeah.
called Bryn, who's very much like cheerleader captain
In
vibes.
the same section too. And that's
Yeah.
like really funny because she goes first or she goes second and then I go third right after her. And I'm like, Bryn, the cheerleader of the horse polo team.
Oh no, it's Ella. It's
Oh, it's Ella. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Ella.
Ella.
Okay. No, Tessa. Tessa. No, but but yeah, Ella's very perfect, and I mean in real life, but her character too. But
Yeah.
I just found that very funny that I just connected those two. So like look out for that. But okay, so like going more like deeper into that, I love to do this when I'm in shows, and I know it's hard because we don't really get like very many like relationships with other people, but like as far as like your character, do you have okay, I always love doing this with my characters, but like do you have a like unwritten backstory or anything like that you think like that it isn't written but like Lou would like enjoy, hate, like who you would be friends with, what clique he would be a part of, like how he would be in middle school, like just anything like that because I think that's always so much fun.
Well, I always thought like he talks about it a little bit in the monologue about what he was like in like way back in like elementary school before. And I think he would definitely be a character who just stayed in the back and didn't assert his opinions. He was just kind of there. And like if you needed him, he was there, but he didn't like have a lot of friends, and the few friends he probably only had like one friend. And I was like imagining him being like the name Peter because that's just the name that kept coming up in my head. So I was like, his friend's name is Peter, and they're next door neighbors, and their parents love each other, but they're kind of like they didn't like each other when they were kids, and then they went to school together, and they were all like, "Oh my god, you're my only friend." They've been friends since. But of course, Peter's like really cute, and he's a part of the popular group, so he gets a girlfriend, and Lou is left alone for high school. So I definitely think that would be his whole like storyline.
Mhm. It's funny, there's a Peter too in this show. And I don't know if I would necessarily, not Zavia, but I don't know if I would necessarily consider Peter a cool kid from his mom.
Yeah.
But I love that. I love that so much. That makes a lot of sense. Lou has attachment issues. No, but yeah, but I just always love to ask everyone that question just because I think it's so much fun. 'Cause just to come up with that and even because there is like because like the writing is so good but then there's so much that like you can even if it's like it doesn't have to affect your acting at all, it's
Yeah.
just so fun to like just have that. I think
Yeah.
that's so especially when you're like I all these roles in this show are actually very equal and like
Mhm.
but like especially if you're like a member of the chorus in a musical, I think it's always really fun to like come up with your own little backstory because no one's really well, like not that no one's paying attention to you, but like you don't have everything written down and that
Yeah.
you can sort of fill in the blanks, which I think is also cool about this show. So I just love asking that question. But I okay, so moving on. Oh, okay. Um okay. Um Okay, so I was just about to ask you a question. Um, okay,
Good.
we'll just move on to another. Okay, so now going like on to you, in quarantine. Here's a fun little question. I know like early last March, like quarantine, everyone picked up a lot of like hobbies and um like had a bunch of like things like to cure boredom and I know everyone now I feel like we've all gotten a lot more used to it. We've also
Yeah.
gotten a lot more less motivated. But but like did you pick up any fun hobbies? I know I learned how to skate, but like have you picked up any like fun hobbies or like
Um,
watched any cool shows or anything?
yeah, I got into a lot of hobbies. It's actually kind of bad how many hobbies I've gotten into. I did try skating. Fun fact. Fell, hurt really bad. Never did it again. I also tried skiing, but that's another story. I picked up painting and drawing because all my friends said I was a really good like artist. So I thought, why don't we like get an iPad? So I got that for my birthday or Christmas. I can't remember. It was Christmas. And I got that. I started picking up painting, and I've painted pretty much everything in my room. I got into anime again, which it's a bad thing now. As you can see, the wall, so I have a problem. I also got into
So cool.
Marvel.
It's so cool.
I know, yeah. I also got into Marvel, which I used to hate Marvel because I was like, this is gross. I don't like this. And then I got into that
Hey, what's
recently with
Marvel? Like
Marvel.
just the pattern?
What? No, not Marvel patterns. I mean Marvel, as in like the superheroes
Oh,
and like
Marvel. I thought you said marble. Like the pattern, like the countertop.
the
No.
no.
I want to
Um,
get more into Marvel. I haven't seen a single Marvel movie. Don't come for
I
me.
have. I walked out of Endgame. I like watched the first part of the movie and I walked out. I was like, this is too long. I'm leaving. And then I was like, everyone was like, the next day, everyone was like, oh my God, he died. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I like cry about it. I'm like, oh my God, it's so sad. But I got into that. Yeah, I just picked up a lot of artistic hobbies. Like this took me a full actually I think it took me like a week to do because I had to glue all the cotton onto the thing and the lights.
Yeah, I
It was
saw
a
this on
long
TikTok.
process. It
The
hurt.
cloud walls. Very, very cool. Also, like I'm just like plugging Willow's artwork a little bit, but I think this might happen. I think that the cover of a lot of these like podcast episodes, if we can figure out how to do it, will be Willow's drawings, and they are so good. They're so good. I think you guys should. They might be. They're probably gonna be posted on the Instagram too.
Yeah.
But even if like you don't end up seeing, I suggest that you reach out to Willow and be like, "Hey, can I see your posters? Because they are so good. They are so good." And well, the last one is of me, but no, but like they are so good. So Willow is so talented. Plugging Willow's art a little bit for the show, but go check out our Instagram. Also, plugging our Instagram. Go check out 10 ways. Just what is the account? Is it 10 ways to survive life in a quarantine?
Yeah, I think
Um,
so.
like 2021 or 2025,
Yeah,
because
2025.
that's our class. Um, I think that's it. But plugging our Instagram, doing all that jazz. So yeah, go 10 ways 2025. Go check out that account. Go check out Willow's posters, everything about our show, podcast, everything, Instagram, TikTok. Go follow us. Go follow us everywhere. There's
Everywhere.
some pretty
We're
cool. We've been working on some pretty cool stuff for you guys.
that's
But sorry, I got a little bit sidetracked. Um, but going off of like that question, um, I know like especially quarantine has been pretty whack. Um, but I know that all these sections are taken very much to an extreme, which makes it so funny. Like
yeah.
I don't think anyone would actually end up speaking to their like inanimate objects, or at least I hope not. They maybe should get some therapy if they
Yes.
do that. But like if you did have a section in this show, or like even just a character, what would your quarantine crazy thing or like your quarantine journey be about?
Um well, there's a couple of things slightly. One, it probably could be about me painting because the amount of times I've gotten mad at myself because I've done a drawing and like what I mean mad, I mean like exponentially mad, like screaming. It gets bad. My parents are a little worried, but that's okay. Kind of getting like doing the paintings, I think that's something that like the crafts section, I think that's definitely where I'd be in, where it's like messing up and being like, oh my God, or just making it way too more serious than it needs to be. That's also another thing. Um, I think like any of the characters I'm connected to, it's probably Jolene because I've tried to do origami before and I've failed very miserably, and it took me like 6 years to do one crane, and it was really pointless, and now I can't stop doing it. Um, so yeah, I definitely think that's where I'd fit.
Okay, you also play Jolene, right? Like that's
Yes,
your
I have to be played
okay. Well, she also plays Jolene, guys.
Jolene.
Two roles. So that is another thing to watch out for. Watch out for Willow as Jolene too. Um, but yeah, I get it. I get it. I'm the same way with everything. I don't do art because I suck. But my grandmother's actually a big artist. But I don't whatsoever. I'm not that talented. Um, I wish I was because I think, oh my god, so cool. Especially what you do. Sorry, plugging your art again. So good. So good. So talented. But yeah, I quarantine has been wacky.
Yes.
Very, very wacky. Um okay, well, so yeah, unless you really want to like recap anything or like mention anything else, come see our show last week of April.
Don't see
Um,
it.
oh my god, that's coming up.
I know.
I'm
I'm
nervous. It's gonna be really good. It's gonna be
yeah.
really good, but yeah. So tune in the last week of April. You'll Miss Han will talk to you about it too. But
Yes, she
if
will.
yeah, so come watch our show. Go follow our TikTok, which I think is the same way, or I don't. Our Instagram is 10 ways 2025, and our TikTok is linked there. The podcast that you are listening to will soon be linked there too. And yeah, thank you for letting me interview you, Willow.
Yes, anytime.
Okay, so tune in next week. Go follow everything. Come see our show, and yeah, thanks.